Welcome back to the harvested fields of Perthshire. Harvested barley fields, to be precise, and look at that view. What we've been waiting for since March. Harvested fields. And what a happy man I am, back on the fields of Perthshire, like a pig in the proverbial. I have been waiting a long time for this moment, so I'm not going to gibber on any longer than I have to. 30,000 subscribers, which is incredible. Over the moon with that, and as I say, apologies for the person who tried to pull the wool over some of your eyes by telling you that you'd been chosen for a free metal detector. I think there was about 100 people got the message. I wish I could do that, but unfortunately my budget doesn't stretch quite that far. So I'm back, just me. I'm going to do 3, maybe 4 hours on the fields here behind me, which are barley stubble. It'll probably be hard going because it's always tough when it's just been harvested, but I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. So let's go and see what the XP Deus 2 can find us today. Well, thankfully that rain didn't come to much, just a passing shower. Fingers crossed I actually find something, otherwise this might be a very short video with an introduction and an end. But as you can see, the Deus 2, as usual, I'm on version 0.71. I am way behind on my updates. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to update to the new program anytime soon. But what I am going to do is change program, because as you'll have just seen there, I was on beach because when I was away working, I took my detector with me and I did a little bit of beach detecting, but didn't really get much success, so I didn't get enough footage for a video. So I'm still on an old version of the XP Deus 2. I'll probably do the 1.1 update just as soon as I think I've got time to get to grips with it. But the chances are I'm probably going to have to wait until after Detectivist in September, because I think I'm really going to need a good month of plenty of time to detect, and I'm not going to have that anytime soon. So as ever, I'm going to go with program 3, and I'm also going to go with the square tones. And that is really that. So let's see what these fantastic fields have got in store. This field has produced literally everything. Martin's had 3 hammered silver coins off this field in the last 2 years. I've also had a Scottish hammered silver coin. And there's been lots of finds from the Georgian period, from the Second and First World War era as well. So let's see what we can find. Even though we have done this field, or I've detected this field for the best part of 20 years, it's been ploughed and it's been rolled and then seeded and now harvested, so it's hopefully turned up some new signals brought to the surface when it was last ploughed, and we're straight in with a signal in the first 30 seconds. Coming in 71, 72. You'll probably notice I don't have my headphones. It wouldn't be like me to not turn up with everything, but I did try to find them, but in my absence of being away, my wife has very kindly moved them, and I don't know where to. So I'm just going to have to go with the speaker for the moment. Right. So are we going to be in with a phenomenal find straight off, or a bit of aluminium? And the answer is a bit of aluminium. So there you go. You wait all that time and you get tin. Oh well. As any seasoned detectorists amongst you will know, barley stubble when it's just been harvested is a bit of a nightmare, because it's really difficult to swing the coil. I got a really tetchy 66, 67, didn't film it, took 2 spadefuls out, it got a lot better. And you know what, we're straight in with a Relic, and we've only been going for literally just 3 or 4 minutes. We've got the famous Les brush, and I think we've got a lead seal. Not going to wet it because sometimes lead can kind of fall apart. Oh, we've got a number 1. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That looks like a little ear of barley. Almost looks like a rifle on the other side as well. It's a bag seal, and we've probably got a maker on the back. Let's give it a wee rub-a-dub-dub. So, it's a bit damaged. Not sure what that other decoration is there. Right, let me just zoom you in a wee bit. There we go. So we've got a little wheat or barley, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an ear of barley, is a stalk of barley, is that the word I'm looking for? And there's a symbol on the other side, which I cannot quite decipher, can't make out my mind. It does almost look like a gun, but that doesn't really make much sense, does it? And on the reverse, we have got some letters. And I've got no idea what it says. At the bottom it looks like M-U-N-L-E-N, Munlin. That doesn't make any sense, but I suspect it's a bag seal for, I'm guessing, barley or wheat. And date-wise, it's probably going to be, looking at the type, I would say it's probably 1800s. But it's a seal that would have been attached to probably grain, and the farmer would just cut it open before he seeds the field. So, that is a very, very nice find. And didn't even have to wait 5 minutes for it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What a start. Sounded like a big target, and indeed it is. It's a little bit of copper, some sort of, I don't know, copper strap or something, but ultimately, junk. I may well have missed having freshly harvested fields, but I tell you what, I don't miss swinging the coil in freshly cut barley stubble, because it's a nightmare. I have got the 13-inch coil on, so that hopefully is going to give me a little bit more depth. I've shortened the stem, so I'm kind of stooping over a little bit, but it gives me a little bit more purchase and a bit less flex in the stem of the metal detector. But we've got a 72, 77. Let's try and get that stubble out the way a bit. Oh, it's a bit hard. Could well be the dreaded aluminium, but only one way to find out. You know, doesn't sound amazing. Hopefully, without having the headphones, the sound isn't too high. Right, let's get the pinpointer, because I'm not exactly certain I'm in the right place. Oh, it's my detector falling over. Somewhere in there, not far away from it, because I've got the sensitivity turned right down. Somewhere nearby. I'm close. There's something green. There we go. It's a bit of bronze. It is. Is that definitely it? That's not it. That's a stone. Ha ha. Right, well, thought I had a bit of metal work in there, but not to be. Come on. Sounded close. Well, if I don't get it now, I'm going to turn you off. Ah, what's that? Is that iron? It can't be iron, surely. Right, I'm going to turn you off for a second and see if we can find out what this is. Well, I was right, unfortunately. It is iron, but it's a big bit of iron. That's why it gave a good signal. It is half a horseshoe. Half of a horseshoe, and that would have been a big horse when you look at the width of that. So it would have come out to somewhere out here. So a great big Shire horse, Clydesdale, or such like, that would have pulled the plough in the days of old. Half a shoe, is that lucky? I better hold it the right way up, but it's certainly got a good bit of wear on it before it was lost. And date-wise, it's probably going to be 1800 through to maybe the early 1900s. But it's a find, and a relic of the land when it was farmed using horses. Well, having got off to a flyer with including the iron bit of horseshoe and the bit of copper strap, I got all of them in the first 20 minutes or so. I've been the best part of an hour without a target, and finally we've got one here. I think it could be, get that barley out the way, I think it could be aluminium. But if you've watched my best of compilation that I put up the other day, there's a wee plug. If you haven't watched it, go and have a look. But there's a few gold coins, in fact 2 gold hammers, and a big hammered silver and an axe head. And if I remember right, I think I called 2 of those items as junk, and they turned out to be fantastic. So the moral of the story is, dig the hole anyway. I'll record it just in case it turns out to be something good. Oh, nice and soft, good. Well, it's coming through at about 79. Well, it doesn't sound very good now, it sounds iron. Oh, there's 2 targets. So that's iron. And that sounds better, 79.80. So, have we got a good signal that's been masked by iron? Maybe. Maybe. It would be nice. Well, we're out. I think I can actually see something there, and it doesn't look... Oh no, that's a blade of grass. Ha ha. Right, well, it's definitely not that. Where's my pinpointer? I think I'm going to have to... Right, I've not really done a good job of this. What am I doing here? Have I got an iron target or not? This is a nightmare. Right. Have I got 2 targets? Have I got 1 target? Right, I think I'm going to have to do a better job here. Oh no, there's iron, look. See that rustiness? Right there. Let's tease it out with a spade. Is it 2 signals or is it 1 signal? That looks like a great... Oop, watch the camera. That looks like a great big bit of iron pipe, and that's exactly what it is. So does that mean that was the target and there's not another? Right, I might have made a mess of this. So let me scan the hole again and see. Because that's a pretty long target, so that's why I might have thought that it was something good and something iron. That's my spade. Alright, I'm going to have to get back to you on this, but I think it might just have been that iron pipe. It was indeed 2 targets. God, it took me some finding. I think I must have turned it on its edge. And you know what? I think it might be an old coin. I think it is. I don't think it's a button. It's paper thin. Let me get you into the light a little bit. It's paper thin. So I think I turned it on its edge, and then it was being masked by the iron. I took another spadeful out and bang, it came out like a a very solid signal. It is, it's a coin. The first coin post-harvest. It's copper and it's Scottish. Definitely can't see any sign of an eyelet on there. Yeah, it's a coin. It's too thin to be a button as well, but it is a coin. Right, I'm going to dry this out and get back to you. Looks like there might be some markings on there, but I'm pretty certain this is going to be from the 1600s, maybe even the late 1500s. So I'll get right back to you. Well, it's definitely a coin. It is 100% a turner. Now, you kind of need incredible eyesight, but you might just be able to see a few stems coming up there, and that's a little bunch of thistles. Scottish thistles, our national flower, and that is a turner or a copper 2p, and I think it's James the Sixth. James the Sixth, just trying to say that with a whiskey in you. James the Sixth of Scotland. Now, he took the throne from his mother when he was about a year old, 1567, and he ruled as King of Scotland until 1603, and in 1603 he got the England job because Elizabeth I, the last of the Tudors, she died without children, and from 1603 until his death in 1625 he became known as James the Sixth of Scotland and James the First of England. So he had two titles, but I think that is a James the Sixth, which would be fantastic. Let me give you a wee zoom in, see if that makes it any easier to see. But it's made of copper, so it's paper thin, and as a result they don't survive very well in the ground, but you can see the odd letter around the outside, and it would say something along the lines of Nemo me impune lacessit, which is basically who dare meddle with me. And on the other side it would say something like Jacobus Rex, James King, and then it would say something along the lines of Scott, France, et Hibernia, Scotland, France, and Ireland. So I think this is James the Sixth, 1567 till 1625. So we've potentially gone back 400 to almost 500 years. That is pretty good going. As I say, they never survive well in the ground, and his mother, Mary Queen of Scots, was forced to abdicate in 1567. She was held in captivity for the best part of 20 years, and then had her head chopped off in 1587. But Mary was to have the last laugh because her son went on to become King of England. Brilliant! A great find. And interestingly, off the field, that Martin has had 3 silver hammers from, which were James the Sixth, Charles the First, and Charles the Second, if I remember rightly. So, same era. Brilliant. Great find. I've had a wee run of aluminium or aluminum tin cans and bits and pieces, but this one sounds a lot more promising. You listen to the sound of that. It's a bit difficult to get at because of all these stalks. Ugh, barley stubble, I tell you. 84, tell you what, could be a coin. Oof, that's hard. Stony ground, oh that's better. Still in the hole, maybe in the wrong place. Oh, that's stony there. Ah, there we go. It's a penny. I can't even get my spade in the ground. It's a penny, look. Do you see it in the hole? Wasn't that deep. It's a penny. 100%. My metal detector has fallen over. There you go, it's Victoria. It's Queen Victoria. And these normally come out in pretty good condition. when the sun's just come out at the right moment. Right, let's get the scooshy bottle out for the first time today. Let's give it a wee rub-a-dub. Back's not quite so good. Bit of corrosion on there, but I think we'll get a date off that. Nice on that side though. Right, I'll dry this out and I'll get right back to you in a wee second. It's got a lovely patina on it, and it's very nice on that side. Victoria de Gracia, Brit, Regina, Fid Def, Ind Imp. Victoria, by the grace of God, Queen of the Britons, Defender of the Faith, and Empress of India. And you can see her, what's called veiled bust. So this is quite late on, probably 1890 to our death in 1901. And sure enough, a bit of a corroded back, but you can just make out 1 penny. And the date at the bottom, 1900, 1900. 1 year before her death. She was the longest ruling monarch until Queen Elizabeth II. I think Victoria was on the throne for about 63 years, give or take. And she wasn't even called Victoria. Her real name was Alexandrina. But she was named after Tsar Alexander, who was her uncle, if I remember right, the Tsar of Russia. Because all the royal families of Europe were all interrelated. Some would say interbred. But Victoria's children, of whom I think she had about 8 or 9, they went on to populate all of the European households because they married into various different families. And when Victoria's grandson, George V, when he went to war with Germany in the Great War, World War I, William, what am I trying to say here? Kaiser Wilhelm, he was his own cousin. So it was very much a family affair. And the Tsar of Russia, Tsar Nicholas, who was murdered during the Russian Revolution along with his family, he was also a cousin of the grandson of Queen Victoria. So there you go. 1 penny, 1900. And at least it's legible. It's better than the Turner, albeit not as old. Great, beautiful find. We've got another digger. Gone quiet again, but I've come up onto this high ridge. Oh God, ground is rock solid. I've got an old trackway, an old road off to my left hand side, just about 30 metres, about 100 feet or so away. So I thought it was worth trying up here, and thankfully because it's on a slope, the tractor has harvested the barley a little bit shorter, so it's a bit easier to swing somewhere. There it is. Jumping about a bit. Yeah, it sounds reasonable. 85, give or take. Oh, easy to dig, thank goodness for that. Right, first hole, nope. Second hole maybe, or second spadeful, should I say. Right, number 2, we're out. Sounds better now. 85, 86, could be another penny, you know, or a half penny. Thought I saw something. Well, that was straw. No, I did. That's round. That is a coin. I think it's a half penny. Yep, I think we've maybe got a half penny. Excellent. 2 coins. 3 coins, in fact. And it's just about to start raining. The sky has gone very black all of a sudden. If you look up there. That is what's about to land on top of me, unfortunately. Fingers crossed, it's just another passing shower. Right, do we wet it or do we rub it? What do you think? Maybe wetting it would be the better option. Well, it's a bit encrusted. Yeah, it might have gone a bit crusty on the back. Right, let's try this side first. Here, tell you what. That's George. That's George the Third. 1819. That is a lot older than it looked. What is that then? What is that? Because this halfpenny should be much bigger than that. Huh. It's a sixpence. That should be silver. That should be silver. And that does not look silver. It's almost green. We might have a forgery. I think we might have a forgery. Oh, I'm putting more mud on it than I'm getting off. I think we could have a forged sixpence, which I've had a few before. It's quite a common coin that was forged. But I think that that is a sixpence. Right, I'm going to dry it out, and I might go and even hide under the trees if this rain comes on heavy, and I'll get right back to you. I'm a bit befuddled with this one. So, I've given it a wee rub-a-dub with the finger and the bendy thumb, and you can clearly see George 111 DG Brit Rex Fiddef, and the date 1819. So it's George the Third, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith. Now, it's the right size for a sixpence. If you look at the side, it's a wee bit silvery. There's a few flecks that look silver. And on the back as well, you can see around the edge, it's got a bit of a shine to it. But I think this might be a forgery. And it's possibly been silver plated. You've got Oni Soit Quae Mal Y Pence, and you've got the coat of arms of Scotland, Ireland and England, and in the centre Hanover, because the Georges were the kings of Hanover as well, all the way through to Queen Victoria. And Queen Victoria wasn't allowed to become Queen of Hanover because she was a woman, so I think she sent her uncle, if I remember right, to go and do the job instead. As you can see, it's pouring with rain, and you might be able to hear that in the background. It's absolutely torrential. Right, I'm going to run under the trees. I'll be back in a minute. Don't you just love Scottish summer? I've abandoned my detector and fled underneath the trees, where I'm going to remain for a few minutes. Well, that kind of scuppered filming, because I've completely forgotten where I was, but let's zoom in on this a little bit, and you'll clearly see the laurel-wreathed head of George the Third, looking to the right-hand side. Potato head, as I call him, because he's got a fairly big, prominent head. Some people, I think, call this a bull head, and in fact, is that the shilling? I don't know, maybe the sixpence could be called a bull head as well, but 1819, so it's the year before George III died. He died in 1820. He ruled from 1760 to 1820, so he was on the throne for 60 years. And I do think this is a forgery. On the back, as I think I mentioned before, we've got Oni Soit Quae Mal Y Pence, which means something along the lines of shame upon thee who thinks evil of it, or evil of me. And that is the Order of the Garter. It's Norman French. And the Order of the Garter is an ancient order of chivalry that was created way back in the middle of the 14th century, sometime around about 1350. It was created by Edward III, King of England. And it's the greatest order of chivalry in England. In fact, technically within the UK. Although in Scotland we've got the Order of the Thistle, but that wasn't created until the latter part of the 17th century. So we were a wee bit behind. But I think that that is a counterfeit. There were quite a lot of forged sixpences and shillings and other coins during the reign of George III. It's almost kind of as if people turned a blind eye to it because there was a bit of a shortage of coinage. And I think that that is what that is, so that probably makes it that little bit more special. Beautiful. 1819, 1 year before his death. Right, still raining. Let's see how long this is going to take to go off. And I'm pretty soaked as well, but all worth it. The rain has been relentless for the last 20 minutes, so I think I'm going to call it time. I'm going to leave it there. It's a pretty successful day's outing on the newly harvested fields. We've got 3 coins from 3 different centuries and a lovely lead seal, so I don't think I can complain about that. Now, just for speed, I'm not going to use the light box. I can process the video a lot quicker if I don't have to go home and set that all up. So from the 19th century, we've got George III, which I think is a forged sixpence. From the 20th century, 1900 to be precise, we've got a penny of Queen Victoria. And potentially from the 16th or early 17th century, we've got a copper turner, which is, I think, James VI of Scotland, son of Mary, Queen of Scots. And then this interesting little lead seal, which I think is from a seed bag, probably sometime in the 18 or very early 1900s. This little nondescript bit of copper strapping as well. And on top of that, the usual aluminium, tin foil, even iron pipe and half of an iron horseshoe. Well, I can't complain about that for 3 hours and 49 minutes. Just a shame about the weather, because I was going to go for probably another hour, but the forecast has changed and it's not looking particularly good. So I hope you all enjoyed, and fingers crossed, maybe on the next video we'll have Martin and maybe even Sneaky Pete. So thank you all for watching, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for 30,000 subscribers. So thank you for all the incredible support, and we'll see you all, I hope, on the next dig. And if you don't already, then please consider hitting the subscribe button and give me a wee thumbs up as well. Take care, and I hope to see you all on the next dig. Thanks for watching.